morning, everyone. Today we have a really interesting story once again, and this story is called Daniel and the Lions. Now, Daniel lived in a country called Babylon. He lived there because the king of that country sent his army to Israel to capture a whole lot of people. He said, "You have to come and live in our country and do our work for us." Daniel was one of the people that got taken to Babylon. And he worked very hard when he got to Babylon. And the king of Babylon said, "I think you're doing a very good job. Come and help me make the laws and do important things in my kingdom." So Daniel got to live in the king's palace. Some of the other people, though, that made them very angry. They kept saying, "The king likes Daniel best. We want the king to like us best." So they made a nasty plan. They went to the king and said, "Do you know that Daniel worships God? He prays 3 times a day. You can even see him pray through the open window in his home." So they went to the king and they said, "Why don't you make a law that says everyone should pray only to you? You're king, and therefore we think you're God. Nobody should pray to anyone else." "Good idea," said the king, filled with his self-importance. Daniel knew about the king's new law, but of course Daniel wanted to live in God's way. So he kept on praying to God 3 times a day, even though he knew that ultimately that would make the king very angry. The nasty people said, "Daniel's not obeying your law. He should get in trouble." That made the king very sad because he really liked Daniel. "But when I make a law, everybody has to obey, even Daniel." So as punishment, now this is awful, the king threw Daniel into a room full of fierce lions. He was sure the lions would eat Daniel, and that made him very sad because he liked Daniel. He said to Daniel, "I hope your king takes care of you and protects you from the lions." The king couldn't even sleep that night. He was so worried the lions would eat Daniel. The next morning he ran to the lion's den. "Daniel, Daniel, are you all right?" The answer came. "Yes," said Daniel. "My God kept the lions from biting me even once. They didn't hurt me at all. I love my God very much, and I try hard to live in God's way. And because of that, God is with me when hard things happen to me." So that's the story of Daniel and the lions. And I will look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.
Hello, my name is Cameron and this is Baruch the Uke. And today we're going to be singing "This Is the Day." And this is a fun song because there is an echo. And it goes like this. This is the day, and you will echo back, "This is the day that the Lord has made." And you will sing, "That the Lord has made. We will rejoice," and you'll sing, "We will rejoice and be glad in it." And you'll sing, "And be glad in it." And then together we will sing, "This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." And then I'm going to sing, "This is the day." You will echo back, "This is the day." And together we'll sing, "That the Lord has made." Let's give it a try. I'll start off pretty slowly. but then I will speed up and we'll see how we go. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's try that again. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And together, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. How's that? Let's go a little faster and see if we can keep up. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's go a little faster still. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Okay, one more time. Let's do it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made.
Daniel in the Lion's Den. Would you like to spend a night in a den full of hungry lions? This story is about a man in the Bible who was given a choice: either stop praying to God or be fed to the lions. Daniel loved God with all his heart. He prayed to God lots of times every day. Daniel did what was good and right. He worked for the king of Babylon. The king saw that Daniel worked hard and always did what was good and right. The king made Daniel the boss, but the king's other helpers wanted to be boss instead. The king's other helpers got angry. They tricked the king into making a rule: anyone who prayed to God would be thrown in the lion's den. Daniel heard about the king's rule. "I love God and I will still pray," said Daniel. The king's helpers looked in the window. They saw Daniel pray and told the king. Daniel had broken the king's rules. The king was very sad. He knew he had been tricked. "Daniel's God will look after him," said the king. Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. He was not afraid. He just prayed to God. The king could not sleep. He was so sad. In the morning, he looked in the lion's den. The king saw that Daniel was safe. God's angel had shut the lions' mouths. The king then made a new rule: everyone must love God and pray only to him.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. and I pray He will keep me till that day. Keep me standing true and strong, singing heaven's joyful song. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.